Great design by Pittsburgh. Poor defense by Denver.
It leads to this.
Get on up.
Najee Harris up and over the top. Steelers up 17-6 at the break, and then in the third quarter, they're looking to add to it. It's Claypool again.
Look at his eyes. He's going to hold the backside safety, Kareem Jackson. Claypool, you really want that big body throw down in the red zone to allow the big receiver to use his body almost as a rebound, shield the defenders. Great
Denver
throw.
would make a bit of a comeback, so it's 24-19. They need to make some plays in the fourth quarter, and here's one of them.
Well, do you guys watch tape on the Steelers? All they do is throw an out route to the left.
They do throw the behind the line swing pass.
17 seconds to go.
Down.
Broncos still had a chance, but the Bridgewater pass intercepted in the end zone. Ben threw for 253, 2 touchdowns, only sacked once. Maybe that's the big number. Quickly, RC. Only sacked once against a Denver defense that's supposed to be pretty good. What do we say about the Steelers today?
The big numbers were the rushing attempts.
Yes.
It wasn't about necessarily getting the yards, which they did do with Najee Harris going for over 100, but it was about the rushing attempts. They came out early and started to run the football, and Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, was committed to that type of run. Right. And this is what we always said about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need to be physical up front, need to run the football, take some of the pressure off of Ben Roethlisberger, allow him to make some plays when he needs to, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers we saw yesterday.
Yeah, that reminded me of the old Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a formula back in the day, and they would win as many games as anybody. It was runs plus, so rushing attempts plus completions. Yeah. If you win that, you win the game. They did it yesterday big time. They started to run the football. That's a way to protect Ben. Now, with that being said, did we not see the hit that Ben took, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, and I'm like, oh gosh, he looks so old.
Yeah.
No, that's the setup though, Rex. Because see, what happens is, if you let the world know that you're hurt, you're either a hero or you have a reason. Like, you're a hero because, oh my gosh, look at this warrior. He's fighting through all these injuries and he still wins the game. And then if you throw bad passes, you could be like,
they got me in the boat. I'm in the boat. That was my hero right there.
So this is a good weekend for the Steelers. The Browns lose. The Bengals, and this matters now, they lose. Ravens have a pretty tough game tonight against Indianapolis. It's a good weekend for the Steelers.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see you get a win. I think the two things that stand out to me are, one, the offensive line actually gave Najee Harris space.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't just, hey, we're going to run the ball. You talked about being able to stay committed to it. Well, they actually got him to the line of scrimmage. How many times are you going to play a defense that drops 2 pick sixes like Denver did? Unlikely. So, I don't want to throw water on it, but, that's the reality is Ben made some plays. Denver also gifted him some
Let me also jump right in here. I'm literally being told as we speak that there were reports right now that the Steelers are fearful that Juju Smith-Schuster may miss the rest of the season.
Dang.
Which obviously we'll get more on that as we go. That obviously would be a terrible. I'm literally being told that as we speak. I have no more information than that. We will pass it along as we hear it, but that would be bad. Meanwhile, I mentioned the Ravens. That's a losable game tonight against the Colts, to say the least. It's Lamar, it's Carson Wentz, it's Baltimore and Indianapolis, 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, the ESPN app. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown, 6 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Coming up, how do you explain what Tom Brady is doing at the age of 44? RC will try as he explains his tweets.
Guys, if you were in SoFi yesterday and you believe you could get the football back with 1:30 and your quarterback can win you the game, guess what? You were a Los Angeles Chargers, not a Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean, is that
100%?
Is it as simple as that? Like, Baker Mayfield didn't have a bad day. It's not fair in every way to put the loss on him. But is it reasonable to say this was a game between one team that has a good quarterback and one team that has a great quarterback?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say because the question follows you in the NFL at quarterback until you answer it. Can you be the guy late in games that will put us on your back and be the difference? And the Chargers had that with Justin Herbert, and the Browns, and this is coming from somebody who has always had Baker's back, and I still think he's very good. The Browns yet don't. Baker hasn't answered that question
You
yet.
said something week 1, and it sticks with me, and I repeat it constantly. Like, there are some quarterbacks you win because of.
Right.
When will the Cleveland Browns start winning because of their quarterback?
And they've had 2 chances this year, right? Week 1 against the Chiefs, and then yesterday. Fourth quarter, 1 possession game, quarterback, you need to go be special. And to kind of elevate, into rare air in the NFL to elite air, you got to do that. You could be a really good player, Baker is, but until you be the guy that in the fourth quarter in one possession games, right now, Baker Mayfield, Hembo gave me this number. In the fourth quarter of one possession games, Baker Mayfield's 31st in QBR.
Yeah.
Facts over feelings. Facts over feelings.
Well, man, I hate to say I was right again, but I was right again. But here's the deal.
Hate to say it.
Look, I hate to say it, but because I think Herbert, I said, oh my God.
Well, what were you right about?
But I'm right about everything on this thing because to me, here's the thing. This guy is not Justin Herbert. All right, if you have Justin Herbert, you win the game. If you have Aaron Rodgers, you win the game. You have Tom Brady, you win the game.
Right.
He's not in that air. So when I said he was overrated, I think he's a good quarterback.
Right.
But he's not a great one. And you know who else doesn't think he's a great quarterback? The Cleveland Browns. Are you kidding me? It's 3rd and 10.
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 10.
I agree with
and
this,
if you punt the ball, you know the Chargers are scoring because you can't stop anybody, especially the Chargers.
Yep.
Here it is 3rd and 10. Let's run a draw. What? I remember sitting back. I was sitting there with Randy Moss and go, they're going to run the ball. Oh, my God, I was just kidding. What are you doing? Are you kidding me? Throw the dang football. Why do you have Odell Beckham? Why did you trade for Odell Beckham? Can he not beat somebody? Like, in that situation, throw the ball. That's what bothers me about this game more than anything. The way they handled that situation, 3rd and 10, and then when you get the ball back, I mean, a minute 30 left. I wanted to see him win the game. Yeah. And to sit back and the way they handled it, what they burn off a minute of that time and got like 15 yards. It made no sense to me whatsoever.
The final 2
Not Baker's fault.
Was just terrible. Can we have a moment on Justin Herbert here?
No.
He's 23 years old. He started his 20th NFL game yesterday, and as you watch him, it is impossible not to think you're watching the next great NFL quarterback, the next superstar, and maybe he's already there.
Yeah, Herbert's the MVP of the NFL right now. He's the most unflappable quarterback in football so far. And he's changing the narrative around the Chargers. The Chargers used to always lose games like this because they didn't have a guy. And now the Chargers are winning games because of Justin Herbert. I think that what you're starting to see is this guy that, we've raved about the intelligence. That's there. And he's got this unique ability. And Matthew Stafford had this a little bit, where he plays with an incredible amount of ego and very little cockiness. Like you don't, and I've said that, you don't make the throws, that 3rd and 5 to Keenan, you don't make those throws unless you think you're the baddest dude on the field, but you also don't make the easy throw to Cook that gets the 40-yarder down the sideline unless you're okay with doing the
same thing we saw him do against the Ravens.
Hey, I said there's one guy that's feeling dangerous, there's one guy that actually is dangerous.
Yeah.
That was the difference in that game.
If you were starting an NFL franchise right now, you could have any player to start it with, inclusive of everyone. You wouldn't be wrong if you said you'd start it with Justin Herbert. He's 23 years old. Let's talk about a quarterback at the other edge, or the other end of the age spectrum, and that's Ben Roethlisberger. All this talk last week about, is he done? What do we do? Well, first quarter yesterday, he's got 50 yards to Deontay Johnson.
It's a repeat of last week. 3rd down, little climb in the pocket. Deontay Johnson on the right side of the field, deep go route. It's a great throw by Big Ben to get on the board early.
Steelers up 7-0 early. Now it's 10-6 in the second. This time it's Chase Claypool.
Yeah, he's inside in the slot, matched up by a linebacker. That's a different conversation, but you see the ability to run away from defenders and then